and I'll keep my remarks brief. I think a lot about innovation. What's the next big thing? And obviously that's what we invest into. And then we also look very closely at what are the conditions that breed effective innovation and highly creative innovation. And for us, innovation goes beyond just business process improvement and efficiency driving, obviously, and more so to developing new subsectors and step change improvements in the human condition. China and the United States, the two countries that I spend my time the most between, have constantly been locked in a pendulum that swings between the two of them, where one innovates and the other one builds upon those innovations. And as you know, in kind of global history, as you look at a lot of the leading innovations, the key step changes like flight, electricity, and others, you had one person building upon the other's ideas, and ultimately that changing the human condition. We are in a period now where, in many ways, over the last decade, that pendulum has begun swinging back again towards China, and China has become a global leader in innovation on many fronts, particularly in the kind of mobile-first world of mobile-first fintech, entertainment, and financial technologies. And it's actually now the West and other emerging markets that are very much replicating Chinese models, and so the momentum was very much behind China. What worries me, and where I would like to call the attention of this conference, is that the last 5 years or so of the relation between our countries and also broadly has been marked by a more accelerated process of decoupling and what some are now terming deglobalization, where we're becoming more siloed. And to borrow Kishore's analogy, it feels less and less like we're on the same ship, and maybe that people are getting on lifeboats and moving away from the ship entirely, and therefore there's this lessened sense of common destiny, shared prosperity, and the need to all sit around the same table to solve global problems. And so in my mind, this, as we entwine youth and innovation, the theme of our conference here, what I believe is essential to driving innovation, particularly in a place like China, is a highly diversified gene pool of global minds and talent, working to solve problems within China for global challenges. And I come from a consulting background, a company, as you mentioned, called the Boston Consulting Group. And one of the tenets of that business was to bring around groups of people that were highly diversified in terms of their backgrounds. So we would have people from all around the world, from Korea and China and the United States and Germany and Spain, with backgrounds as diverse as nuclear physicists and microbiologists and concert cellists and aerospace engineers solving critical business problems. And the view, at least from where I'm from, is that by having that diversified group of views and individuals, you create more creative and kind of step change innovations. And so to that end, as our markets move away from one another, I'm spending my life trying to kind of sew them back and re-engage constructively and pragmatically between the two markets. And to me, again, speaking of students and youth, it really begins with ensuring that there is a healthy flow of students across border in both directions. We've lost much of that over the last couple years, and there are obviously standout programs like the Yenxing Scholars and Schwarzman Scholars, which are still bringing foreign students into China. But other than that, many of these flows have dropped off, and likewise, flows outward of Chinese students have declined significantly. And so my view is that even pre-COVID, China was a fairly user-unfriendly gateway for foreign students to come in, save for a few of these really nicely organized programs. And so it's critical, as China evolves as an innovation leader, to continue that flow of cross-border talent in and out, to build a much more diversified gene pool that leads to innovations. Because I believe that China, it already has become and will become further an innovation leader, not a fast follower, not a replicator, not many of the generalizations and negative connotations that have been driven in other parts of the world, but more so a true innovation leader but that starts with having a diversified group of students at forums like this and on a sustained basis, both in academic institutions and post-graduation, finding placements for them within China, that we create that kind of a diversified pool of thought. And so I hope that is my wish for this type of a forum, and I hope that we can continue those types of engagements on a going forward basis.